Hi, everyone. Welcome to Buzzing About Romance. I am Becky, and joining me for this episode is Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Becky.
Hi, Leah.
Hi.
And Lindsay's down here. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi.
And we have a special guest, a newbie, I should say. She's never done a podcast before, so we're like first time in her left and right around here.
Be kind, be gentle.
We have special guest tonight, Lady Jane, the creator of Romancing the Data. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
Of course. I'll have to say that it really is Amanda. She's obsessed with your data.
I
Mhm.
am.
Like,
Amanda
she-
loves a spreadsheet.
I do. I love I lists. feel you. I love, that's where it all started from, my love of spreadsheets.
That's fair. So we're going to talk to you about all things romancing the data and books and all these things, but let's just talk about our week real quick. Did everybody have a good week post US Thanksgiving? Lady Jane, you're in Vancouver, correct?
Yes, exactly.
So-
So I already did Thanksgiving in October.
Yeah.
Mm.
But is your Christmas tree up?
I don't really do a Christmas tree.
Okay.
So, because I live alone, and so I don't really, most of my things I go out for. So every year I'm like, am I gonna decorate this year? And then sometimes I'm just lazy and I'm like,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's like
it's
amazing.
too late. I kind of have a window of like, if I can't have it up for like a month, it's like not worth it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Ours is
So I'm
late.
still on the cusp right now.
Ours is going up late. It went up today. It's not decorated, but as I was putting out the gnomes, Leah, Stanley
I
is
love a
stealing the
gnome.
gnomes.
Oh, the gnomes.
Like I have these
We-
cute little
we love a
holiday gnome
gnome.
decorations. I have a ton of
They're
them.
indoor or outdoor?
Oh, for indoors. Well, some
indoor,
outdoors. But like there's a giant one. And I was like, I don't think this can go out. Last year it was by the front door. I don't think it can go
Aw.
out this year. Stanley's like already tried to
I
steal
have
them.
one, it's like this big, but it lights up too. And so we had to put the new batteries in because I take all the batteries out of the like stuff when we store it. It's very
That's smart.
exciting. But yeah,
I always know you're supposed to do that, but sometimes I forget.
well, and I will say there are a couple things that I didn't do it to purposefully, and now that one thing doesn't work, and I'm not sad about it.
You're like, this has to go away now.
Oh yeah,
Is it
it's one of
something that
those-
sings?
Yes, and it like shakes.
I love
My friend had a
those.
Tommy Trout. It wasn't Christmas themed, but it was very
Oh.
loud and sang songs.
I
Like
have
the
a
Billy Bass.
cactus wearing a poncho and a sombrero, and he sings Feliz Navidad. And he shakes and
Oh,
he dances. He's
Yeah, my thank you.
hilarious.
that
I-
sounds fun.
I think it's because when we got it, the kids were really little and they would play it incessantly.
Yeah, that's why you have
It kind of
children.
ruined it for you.
Yes.
Amanda, did you
I
get
don't
your
like
tree
loud
decorated?
things.
We did. We got the tree decorated and everything put out this weekend, other than the dining room. I still have to kind of do some stuff, but other than that, we're good.
I feel like that big plant behind you could use some lights.
It could.
That big plant got moved because it's normally where our Christmas tree goes. So it's just
Oh.
it.
I was gonna say, I
it-
didn't think that it was usually there.
No,
but I was like,
it's-
well, maybe I just didn't
I
notice.
said
I'm
the
like,
same
it
thing to
makes for a nice-
myself.
It makes for a nice lush background.
Yes,
It does.
we normally do actually put lights on it, but that set died, and I don't have an extra set right now,
Mhm.
so it's probably not going to happen this year. Maybe next year, but yeah.
Linz, did you and Charlie decorate yet?
We actually haven't decorated since we moved to New Mexico. But we have gone out to see many decorations. So I did it's called River of Lights. It's like the Botanic Gardens.
Ooh,
nice.
that sounds
Walk through. We
nice.
did that on a weekday. It was empty. It was glorious.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then we did a holiday bar crawl on Friday with our friend because we
Oh,
have
nice.
like a Christmas bar. The Christmas bar was so packed. So like we went to our hot dog bar, which is like a fancy cocktail bar that does fancy hot dogs.
I love a hot dog.
And then we
I
went
do too.
to the tiki bar. And then
Oh.
the speakeasy, that's just like a traditional like 1920s themed. And then like at 11:30 we got in at the Christmas bar and they were like, don't worry, like we technically close in 30 minutes, but last call is at midnight, so you can stay longer. So we were
Oh,
able to
okay.
get like
Oh,
food
nice.
there.
Nice.
That
So
is
what,
Um,
nice.
what makes it a Christmas bar? Is it just seasonal? It changes or
it is. So there's two different Christmas pop-up bars. There's one
okay.
that's Sippin' Santa that is like a tiki bar themed one. We don't have any here, but the other one that we have is Miracle Bar, and that one is just like Christmas everywhere. Like there's a Krampus mug and a Krampus themed drink. There's like they're all themed mugs. Like I had a mouse, a Minnie Mouse
fun.
mug. There's a
Fun.
That is fun.
T-Rex, a Christmas
Susie
Santa Rex.
Susie's telling us she's done her second round of baking.
Oh,
Wow,
Like
Susie.
Oh,
it's
Susie.
and Susie bakes. Like she is what we all want to be, the baker, but she is the baker.
And
So
it's good too because we have experienced it when we have met
yeah, we have
in the
Like,
middle.
we know the baking.
we do know. Bonnie says she spent the day baking. She has one more day tomorrow, but Terrence keeps eating the butter tarts. Okay, I've never had a butter tart. I'm gonna need
Butter
to try
What is
that
a butter
recipe.
tart?
Delicious.
I've never had a butter
What
tart.
is a butter tart?
It's like obviously like a pie crust, and then it usually has like dates and nuts and I don't know, sugar and stuff like mixture in the middle.
I'm sure
Am
I've
I
had
describing
it.
that right?
Maybe it just isn't called a butter tart where I'm from.
Okay,
Maybe.
Bonnie promises to send the recipe. She's Canadian. She's in
Oh,
Saskatchewan.
okay, yeah. I was gonna
Send
say I
me a
think they're more
picture,
of a
Bonnie. I need
Canadian
to know what
thing.
they look like.
Because you only are going to eat them if you know what they look like.
Yeah, I
Because
want
I'm
a
thinking
picture
that, like,
too.
I'm thinking I might know what they are, but I think they're called something different.
I don't know.
My girl child baked today, not in my house, at my in-laws, but I did
That's nice.
not.
Well, that's your other house.
Technically, yes, it is my house, but I don't live in it anymore.
Uh,
Oh my gosh. I was laughing.
Was that
Lindsay,
really
are you
funny,
okay?
Liz?
I don't know. I like laughed up my nose.
Okay.
I was like, it wasn't really that funny. but-
I was just like, it was supposed to be a giggle, and then it turned into like the death
Snorted
laugh.
and anyway, we are off tonight. Okay, so I'm going to do my intro for Lady Jane, and then Leah is going to head our discussion tonight. So joining us today is Lady Jane, the creator of Romancing the Data, based in Vancouver, Canada. She is a communication professional who has been blending her love of romance novels with her passion for spreadsheets since 2024. With a background in communications, business, and psychology, and more than 20 years of experience in marketing, planning, and data analysis, Lady Jane has built a space where readers and authors alike can better understand the trends shaping Romancelandia. She may not call herself a statistician, but she proudly owns the title of Data Nerd, and her work helps romance readers navigate the ever-evolving world of books with love. Okay, so I just have to ask, though, when did you start reading romance? Because this is not, for you to be like compiling data, this is not a new obsession for you.
Well, I'm actually kind of newish.
Oh.
Yeah, my first time I read romance was in university. But it was basically I had classmates in an English class and they had to read a Harlequin as like an assignment. So it was
okay.
like, from a very probably snobby perspective, academic perspective. And I remember they're like, "Oh, you should read it." And I read that one and a few others. I wish I could remember I don't remember anything about them, but I remember being intrigued, but like it didn't, I think I was still too like, I must read to enhance my mind and impress people. And of course in school, I wasn't doing that much reading for pleasure anyways. So it wasn't until it was like 2018, 2019 that I started. So a bit ahead of the pandemic. And I was like kind of coming to the like, okay, I really want to just read more for pleasure and stop caring about like, oh, I should be reading some, lit fic or whatever, the latest, bestseller or prize winner or whatever. And then I think the pandemic, like many people, just like really accelerated it.
Yeah.
And I remember I read a book that really disturbed me, the ending. And it was a very good, like well-written book, but I was just like, I don't want to read about those things. Like, I don't want things that haunt me afterwards. And so that's when I really was like, I need the happy ending. Like,
Hmm.
I really want some joy in what I'm reading. And I just was like, I'm just going all in on romance, basically.
Yeah.
So pretty much like 99% of my reading is romance now. I've hit like over 1,000 books, romance books. So
Awesome.
I've done a lot in a compressed time, I think.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Some of us are
Hmm.
lifers, some of us are new to it. There's space for everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, and I've tried to, because I'm doing this research, like, and I'm taking a bit more of a data approach. I have done a lot of reading and research into the history and
Hmm.
trying to understand more about the genre and the even the like community around it. Like, I kind of came in right after like the RWA implosion, and so like even
Mhm.
learning about that and kind of where that association came from and what's happened to it, just finding more about that because I realized, yeah, there's a lot that's happened
Yeah.
before I became familiar.
It's really interesting. I'm a lifelong romance reader. I mean, I've been reading since 1990. I picked up my first Jude Devereaux. But if I'm really honest, it wasn't until I started working in publishing, end of 2018, beginning of 2019, that I was told there was community online. And it
Oh,
was an editor I worked for in the middle of 2019 that she's like, I can't believe you don't have a blog. And I can't believe that you aren't on Bookstagram. I'm like, Bookstagram? What the hell is that? She's like, people get on
yeah,
Instagram and they talk about the books they read. And I'm like, no, they don't. You take pictures of your dog and your food. That is
yeah,
what's
what I had for
Instagram.
lunch.
And she's like, no, legit, people talk books on Insta. I'm like, no. So I joined like October 2019 and I was like, oh, there really are people talking about books
Yes,
over on
yeah.
this thing.
That's fascinating. Yeah, because I've missed I've like learned about some of the old like the romantic times and some of the like
Hmm.
central media that existed.
Yeah.
And now it's like it's so fractured now that it's just like hard to
Yeah.
like there are some of the old blogs still exist, but it's clear like things have moved to social media now and a lot of those websites just aren't as prominent
No.
anymore. And
Hmm.
so it's like so I can like it's so hard as readers to just understand the landscape and like the breadth of everything that's out there because it's really not centralized anymore.
If you want to take a romance research field trip, come visit me because Bowling Green State University, which is the university, it's about 30 minutes north of me, it has the entire Romance Times archive.
Amazing.
Every
I've listened to
copy.
some of the Smart Bitches. They do some of those
Yeah.
rewinds, and that's
Yeah.
fascinating to listen to them like go through issues of it from
Yeah.
different years.
They're bonkers. Katrina Jackson, she's an author. She actually
Yes.
works in Bowling Green. And she digs through them all the time because they have
Yeah, because
manuscripts.
her and Steve Amadown did
Yeah,
they
the
have a podcast
romance
too.
of Black history or
Yeah.
Black romance history. Um, so, but yeah,
Yeah, all that stuff's so fascinating.
it is fascinating.
And just because I missed a lot of it, so I'm just like, what happened? I want to know.
Um,
So,
people are
what
stupid.
made you go from reading to the analyzing side of it?
Good question. So I got laid off from my job last year, which I'd been there for 16 years. So it was a pretty big like shakeup for
Yeah.
me. And so I was taking some time off and uh, just yeah. So I was in a romance book club and spending more time reading. And I kind of like wanted to be doing something online. Like I enjoyed the community aspect of it, but I'm not like I don't really like doing reviews and like I didn't that was kind of the main thing I saw like readers doing.
Hmm.
And so I was like making a spreadsheet for my book club. Like, oh, what books have you all read? Because I had joined it like a year after it started. And as I'm doing that, I'm just like, I just love making spreadsheets. And I'm like, I need to like I should do something with this, right? Like, I don't know. And then I had inspiration from there's an account called Bachelor Data, and it's a woman who watches the show The Bachelor, and she like crunches
Cool.
all this data related to the show. Like she tracks, and she's expanded now to other like reality shows, but she'll track like how much airtime each person gets, like the if you got the rose on this week, like your probability of XYZ. And it's like really fascinating, and I loved how she turned like this passion of hers like into something very nerdy and
Special
academic.
interest. This is where we need like like a little flashing light that says special interest.
Mhm.
Exactly. Nerd alert. So I was kind of like, oh, maybe I can do something like that, but with romance.
Mhm.
And so then I just, yeah, started brainstorming some different ideas. So I've kind of like iterated some different like kind of series or things I've tried out. Like I've done some compilations of like best of lists.
Okay.
I've done like some voting brackets. Now I've gotten into like bestseller analysis. I do like some of my directories. So that generates some data primarily with the romance bookstores is what I've been really focused on. So part of there is that there's not a lot of data available. So that makes it very difficult
Mhm.
to find, yeah, those insights and stuff that I can analyze. So some of it's been like trying to be creative about how can I look at what's out there and do something with it that's new and like give some more interest and insights.
Wow. Leah, you're
I
processing,
just
aren't you?
stunned you all.
I am processing. Well,
Everyone's
also, I'm
like,
kind of stuck on the fact that there's a bachelor. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, she's like gotten huge, and now she does like Dancing with the Stars, and like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. But I messaged her and said, I'm gonna do this for romance, and she's like, go for it.
Well, and it's
Nice.
really interesting because publishing likes to hold their cards close to their chest.
they really do.
You know, if we look at just the simpleness, we did a whole episode where we break down bestseller lists.
Yes.
And it used to be we knew what you needed for USA Today before it became curated. And New York Times has never given, you know, how they come up with their stuff and what book scan
Yeah.
numbers matter in the analysis of all of that. And so it sucks because you don't know where you need to be. And I think it's
Totally.
one of the few industries that doesn't give us, you know,
Yeah, and you have
sales
to like
numbers.
pay to access the data.
Yeah.
To get book scan. Like I can't access that data as just like a layperson. Even if I wanted to pay, you have to be like part of the publishing industry
Mhm.
as a professional. So it's, yeah, and then even that data is not complete because it doesn't cover a lot of ebook data, and don't even mention like audiobook data. That's not in there at all. So like I think a lot of that resides with Amazon, but of course like that's a company and they
Mhm.
aren't just giving that out for free.
Right.
So, or well, I don't even think you can pay for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that limits things a lot. So that's what I started doing, New York bestseller list analysis for the combined fiction list, because it at
Okay.
least includes some ebook data,
Mhm.
presumably, since it's mentioned in the title of the list. But of course,
would
it's
hope.
only it only really includes traditionally published books, and it's obviously not just romance focused. So I was specifically looking more at the romance, but now I've introduced looking at Amazon Kindle store analysis of their top 100 list for romance. So I have now like a ranking that I do over the month and then analyze the top 100 over each month. So that list I feel like is a little more closer to reality because at least it's representing self-published books
Mhm.
as well as trad published. But yeah, it's all like it's what Amazon's telling us is the top 100. I don't have any like numerical like
No.
it's just a ranking. There's
Well-
no like units sold or anything like that we're getting from that.
And people within the industry know things that other people don't know. Like we know
of
what it
course.
takes to break the top 10 in ad sales. We know what it takes to sit at number 1 for weeks post release day. Like we know those ad numbers, but nobody wants to talk about those. We talk about them. And then
Yeah.
we get nice quiet DMs that are like, "How do you guys know those numbers?" I'm like, "Cuz we see your author groups." Because we
Yeah.
are in them as a PA or, you know,
Yeah.
because authors talk because people don't realize that.
Yeah.
Everybody talks to everybody. So we know that you have to spend minimum $10,000 a day to break the top 10.
Wow.
So like it's
I mean, there are those random ones that like they
Of
don't do
course.
that. It's not just like we're not saying that like you have to do
Only,
that to
but
break
yes.
that, but it like the ones that are there regularly without fail, like that is what they're
There's
spending
yeah,
and doing.
that's driving that. Yeah, and that's what's
Mhm.
hard to like. When I started doing the analysis, I don't know if I did it the first month, but then I started looking at like which books have been on sale at some
Right.
point during that month, and like of
Mhm.
course, a lot of the books that aren't new releases had been on sale, so that's
Yeah.
obviously driven why they're likely on the
Yeah,
list.
those book bugs definitely
Yes,
drive.
exactly. Like for
Yeah.
example, like every month, Nora Roberts has another back title
Yep.
that's on the top 100 because she's put it on sale for $1.99. So it's
Mhm.
like it's a great strategy for her
Mhm.
because she's like, yeah, continually rotating through like her back catalog and boosting sales that way. And then of course you have like like the media tie-ins. Like if there's a series like we're seeing that now with Heated Rivalry,
Right.
like two of Rachel Reed's books, the first two in the series, were both in the top 100 for November, even though that series only dropped like at the very end of the month. So it's likely going to be really close at the top, probably number one next month. We'll see.
And they were on sale as well. So
Yes,
like that
exactly.
adds in.
But then there was the like
Well, then they took it
paperback.
down for 2 weeks or
They
2
did.
days.
Oh.
Heated Rivalry was down for 2 days.
How was
It's
it?
back up now.
Well,
and
they
it's
had the
on
paperback shortage as well.
right.
Mhm.
And it's on sale for $2.99. And see,
Yeah,
Stephanie,
I think the first three are on sale now for
Yeah.
like $1.99 or something.
and
Well,
s-
it was a climbing. It was like 99, 199, and 599 or something like that.
but something people don't realize too is that imprint. So they don't know all the different imprints, right? Like the average
Yes.
person. So Carina Press is a digital
Yes.
only imprint.
First, I know I heard you talking about that last week, and that was very interesting. But I think because I've seen a lot of the feedback about the criticism, and
Yeah.
I do think it's very different because it's like a Canadian-led production.
Well, it's
And
also different because it was author sold, not publisher
Yes.
sold.
Totally.
So when Bridgerton sold from, so technically when, who wrote Bridgerton? What's her name? Julia Quinn. When she sold Bridgerton, she didn't actually have her TV and film rights. Her publisher has them. So when you sell a
Gotcha.
book, a lot of times you sell your world rights, meaning
Yeah.
film and TV, all translations, audio, anything that is considered a sub-right. When you see something that says world rights, that means every right to that book is now owned by the publisher. They'll talk to the agent and author before they make decisions. But so in Rachel's case, the way Carina Press works, because it's a digital only, they only buy for ebook, paperback, and audio. She owns all her film, TV, and her sub rights.
Yeah.
So she made that TV deal outside of her publisher. She probably gave them a heads up, but it wasn't a matter of.
Yeah, they weren't part of that process.
It wasn't.
necessarily.
Yeah.
And then like it from the outside, it looks like it all happened very quickly. Like even the announcement of the series was only in June, and then like you mentioned in the show last time, like the HBO announcement was only like less than 2 weeks ahead.
Mhm.
It's like maybe they knew a bit before that, but it seemed like it wasn't for sure. So like yeah, they're probably not going to make a big plan for something that's like not a 100% done deal. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that like to take advantage of this like huge hype now that's happening. But like yeah, I think like you were saying last time, it was like it's meant to kind of be a Canadian production,
Mhm.
and like the hope was to go farther, but that wasn't necessarily like in a certain guarantee.
I would
Right.
like to start a petition for Crave to take over Passion Flix. How can we make
I needed to correct that Crave is not like Hallmark. It's not an equivalent because
No.
it's more. It doesn't have as much original content, but because it does play like the HBO
Yeah.
in Canada, we see it more as like HBO type
Okay.
channel. So it does like Canada Drag Race, like RuPaul's Drag Race Canada. And then it did like the other Jacob Tierney projects like Shoresy and Letterkenny.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a few others, but obviously now Heated Rivalry is going to be the benchmark.
I love me some Letterkenny.
Just real quick, Lady Jane, do you hate Letterkenny? Because I have heard
I have
that
never watched it.
many Canadians are not fans of Letterkenny.
I think it's more of an Eastern Canada vibe.
Yeah.
And I'm a West Coast girly, but I haven't actually watched it, so
Okay.
I can't say yes or no. But now that I've seen his other work, I'm like, well, maybe I'll give it a
Oh, they're
try.
ridiculous. I mean,
But it's
Letterkenny.
delightful.
Lindsay, have you watched Letterkenny?
I've seen some episodes. It's been a while. But yeah, I think I enjoed it.
I'm
It's
sure you
so
did.
I've seen like
long.
lots of clips here and there, just because it's like kind of
Just so
iconic
dumb.
Canadian. Yeah, like you hoser. That
And it's got like a lot of dry humor. Like
It
it's not
does.
like laugh out loud funny, but like if you have a dry sense of humor,
Oh, I laugh out loud. But I have a
well,
really dry
Ian's a
sense
big
of
fan,
humor.
so I think I should give it a try.
I
I kind
loved
of feel
it.
un-Canadian that I haven't watched it,
But I'm
but
also a kid that in like 8th grade watched Strange Brew and thought that Dave Thomas
oh,
and Rick Moranis of the Great White North were like the funniest people in all of
It's
humankind.
so funny. I love that.
And the fact that all of those guys came out of SCTV, like John Candy and Rick Moranis, like
Mhm.
that's comedic gold. I love them all. Like,
I had their CD with songs on it. I'm not gonna sing it for you, but
I
that's
love that.
good stuff.
Thinking of Rick Moranis, so they're making another Spaceballs movie. He's
Yes.
coming out of retirement for it, and I'm so
Yes.
excited.
Amanda, you're like,
what's it,
not
Josh
for me.
I
Gad's
know.
in
I
it,
like
isn't he?
Spaceballs. My husband's a big fan of Spaceballs.
Yeah, Josh
so-
Gad is doing it.
Yeah, apparently he was like really wanted to do this and like, yeah.
Well, he like messaged Mel Brooks and was
Yes.
like, "Let's do this,"
Do
and he
this.
was like, "Okay."
Okay.
And Mel Brooks is like
Like
almost
I just had to
100.
ask.
I know, but I love him so much.
Oh, me too. I'm like, okay, let's get this done. Hurry up.
Yeah, this is
Like,
true.
You're like, don't promise it to me and then not deliver.
Well, and did you hear that John Candy's son is gonna be like his like
Playing
barf?
him?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm
I
not
did.
sure how they're gonna work it out, but like
Oh,
he is gonna be some sort of version of barf.
that'll be awesome.
But he looks so much like him too.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen a picture.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah, he
just-
looks a lot like him.
Tom Hanks' son, Colin,
Yes.
just did a documentary on
John Candy.
John
right?
Mhm.
Candy.
Yeah.
And his son
I
was
Like
part
Me.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
haven't watched it yet
I feel
either.
like it's gonna be very sad. So
It is.
I
but
saw.
it's-
I didn't
it's
watch the
very
whole
good.
thing.
Right.
I saw clips.
I need
but-
to be in the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's sad, but it's also
Like
it's really
inspiring.
well done. Yeah, you're gonna be in your feels, definitely.
Well, those are the like movies of my adolescence. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I still love The Great Outdoors with the bear and the big meat challenge.
Yes, that's what I was just thinking of. I'm like, that was that movie, right?
Anyway, yes. Anyway, Lindsay, do you have any questions for Jane? You're like down
No,
there.
I have a comment though. I have like an observation. So I went into this episode like I hadn't heard of you before this episode because I'm not locked in on Instagram.
How dare
or
you?
anything.
Lindsay.
So
You
I,
had to have heard of
I'm
her because I
kind of
know
a
we've
big
talked
deal.
about
No, I'm
her.
just kidding.
well, I mean, like
You've heard of her.
but like I'd never investigated further.
It's
And then
fair.
I went in like a deep dive, especially on your lists, and I was like, because I don't ever look at the best of lists anymore. Like I really like
Oppositional
to rage
defiance.
hate a lot of like the popular books I read. But then like I went through all of yours and I was like, oh, the hockey ones. Like I've actually read a lot of these. Or like I have them on my TBR. So I was like, okay, I'll go and see. And then like your best stuff for 2024, I have a tab on my browser open for that because I was like, I need to download a lot of these because one, like I'd never heard of a good portion of them. And I was
Oh,
like, I think like, and so my observation is this, like for people who generally are dissatisfied with the best of reads, I found that like your list covers every reader probably. Like I think anybody can
Yeah.
go to these lists and find a good amount of
Mhm.
books that are compatible with their tastes.
yeah.
And I really like the structure and I was very excited about it.
Well, I put in the description usually like all these lists are like super biased. Like a lot of them are just like one person's opinion, or maybe there's an editorial look at picking them. But but by like amalgamating them and doing like a meta-analysis, you're kind of hoping to come up with some sort of like less biased lists because you're
Mhm.
getting a bunch of sources.
Yeah.
So it's not like, yeah, I'm always like, take it with a grain of salt. It's not, there's no unbiased way to really do this,
Yeah.
to do some sort of best of list, but it's like one step better, I think, than just
Mm-hmm.
taking one list at face value.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that, and I like lists, and I like to have order. And by looking at all the lists, it's like, okay, we can kind of come up with a summary that
Mhm.
hopefully captures a bit more diversity in the types of titles that we're focusing on.
And books that didn't go viral. Like there's a lot on
Mm-hmm.
here that weren't like viral hits on Bookstagram. Because like once those viral hits come along, it's like that's all you would see. So like I don't really follow current trends very well. But I noticed like a lot on the lists, it's a mix of everything. Like
Yeah,
it's a mix. Like there's some books, there's authors I'd never even heard of. So I think it's a really
okay.
good representation of like when you're using these lists to find books you might like. I think like this is something I'm going to use.
Awesome. I'm
Um,
really happy to hear that. I've
like
kind of stepped back from doing I'm still going to continue to do my annual lists, but I was doing like more subgenre. Like I did the hockey, I did what was it? I did a romantasy or romance fantasy one. Just because they're a lot of work because I have to like I'm trying to find every list on that topic that exists, and that's I think why they end up being like quite diverse because I'm looking at like as many sources as I can, and even like small blogs or small creators who are like doing their best ofs. So that's where I get more of that diversity. But I just, yeah, it's been like how much effort for like the payout for me in terms of like, are people paying attention to this? Are they using this? So we'll see if I get back into that because I have a few people have emailed me saying, oh, would you do this topic or this subgenre? So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I like them. Like I like you. I'm kind of like I use them as my own reading guides too. Like because it's not I didn't pick them. It's based on
Mhm.
like the data. And so for me, it's like gives me a good overview of kind of like, yeah, what were some of the top of the year and not just focusing on, like you said, the very, very viral ones that you're like, yes, I heard of that one. It doesn't need as much attention anymore.
Right.
Well, and one of the ways that people can support you, and and I'll have it linked on our website, but you do have a paid portion of your Substack.
Yes, I
And
do.
that is what will keep romancing the data, continuing to romance the data, is that support.
Yes.
And
So that's
it's hard. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. So like my directories, everything on my website is free. Like the directories, I want those to be available to romance readers. Like the bookstore, romance bookstore directory is something that a lot of people have told me they find really valuable, both readers and authors.
Mhm.
And that's something I don't want to like I could try and make that something that's a paid thing or have bookstores pay to be on it, but I really don't want to do that. I want to make that like a public resource for people. So I focus more on some of my data, the more detailed stuff, making that paid portion. So, for example, the Amazon Kindle store analysis, the top 20 ranking I make available to everyone. But if you want all the detailed analysis, that is part of the the paid subscriber list. And then same with bookstores, I share the general numbers every month, but I do a very detailed analysis of the changes and lists of stores that have opened. Um, and that's again part of the paid. So I'm always looking for like what value can I add for the paid subscribers. So actually something new that I'm thinking of introducing is I have the public directory for bookstores, but a lot of authors have told me, oh, I've used that to reach out to bookstores. And
Mhm.
so I'm like, I have a lot of data I collect that I don't put in the directory. So like I collect like their Instagram page and sometimes their email address. And so I'm like, would that be useful? I put a thread out actually and was like, oh, would authors be like interested in this? And a bunch said yeah. So I might
Yeah.
make that part of my paid subscriber benefits. So
Something
that
else to add into that is if it's a bookstore, an indie bookstore that is accepting indie authors.
yes.
And if it
Yeah,
is a bookstore that accepts consignment from indie authors, because
yes,
that
because
is,
a lot of them have forms now or a
yeah,
page on their website
Mhm.
or like to basically submit if you
Yeah.
want to have your books in the store. So I'm collecting those too. So ideally it will become a spreadsheet for authors primarily that can just go through and like click or email the stores they want to target. So anyways, I'm collecting all this data already. So like what else could I do with this to like sustain my business essentially?
When you're doing all your data and collecting all those things, what is like one of the most aha moments you've had?
I don't know if there's really been like one aha moment. I think like the bookstores in general are something I keep having aha moments where I'm just
Okay.
like, more? What? There's more opening? Is basically something I say like every month.
Yeah, they
Um,
seem to be popping up a lot.
yeah, like I just did the November update and we're at 205 physical stores in the world and like 22 open last month. It's like
Yeah.
the highest in any month this year. It's just like, and then 2 new countries we added, one in Mexico and one in Spain. Also like earlier this year, a couple months ago, like I discovered there's like over 20 in France,
Yeah.
romance
Oh,
bookstores.
wow.
And so that, I guess that was one of my big ahas because I had a couple on my list that I'd heard about, and then someone
Right.
messaged or someone like just replied to something on Threads and that was from France, and she's like, "Oh, there's way more than that." I'm like, "Send me what you know."
It's
And
really
then yeah, there was so many. I'm like, "Okay, I did not know this."
it's really
Um,
interesting because I worry a little bit like, are we saturating the market?
yes.
Yeah.
But today I worked at our local bookstore for my friend today, and she only had hours from 12 to 4 today, and it's snowy and it's very cold here, and I was freaking busy, and people were buying, and we're a small little town, but it's the only romance bookstore between like Detroit and Dayton, and there isn't one in Columbus yet. And so there were people that were meeting in the middle and coming from Columbus and Toledo. And
Uh,
I was like, okay, maybe,
I've been worried about that too, but there's been like a few closures, but nothing like I would see as
hmm
unusual at this point. Um, I think like print books are still a big thing for lots of
Yeah.
people.
it's,
But I think the other piece is like all the most I've seen, it's like there's such a community focus to them. And it's really like this space for women primarily, that's like not being met by there are like other great indie bookstores that do support romance, but like there are a lot that, yeah, don't. And people
there are a
feel,
lot that don't.
Let's
yeah,
like so there's an indie bookstore in my town. It's not technically my town, it's the next little town, but it's like two tiny towns together. But
yeah,
anyway, but so it's an indie bookstore, but they do very few like indie authors, and there's like maybe like a shelf of romance. So it's like
yeah,
I don't usually go in
I
there,
saw
but
that on
yeah,
TikTok as a lot of the indie bookstores were coming on TikTok and making TikTok accounts. You could tell that when people would ask them about romance books or they talk about the books they got in that week, and there was definitely like, oh, and these are the
yeah,
latest romances. Like you could see their like
that these are like romance, but it's actually women's fic.
well, but or they just really don't have
Yeah.
the respect. And it's really
yeah,
interesting because romance is the only genre in fiction that physical books sells more than ebooks. And it actually twisted because in 2022, I believe it was, ebooks were starting to eke out closer to print, and then it flopped back
It's
last
funny
year.
because Amanda and I were talking to Jane Ann Krentz yesterday on Friday, and we were talking
oh,
about how I know it
name
was
drop.
very exciting for
Leah,
Amanda.
Leah
That
and
was very,
Amanda
very
get to talk to
exciting.
everybody, and they like love to name drop. So ask them about
Well,
all
I,
their.
I'm all for
I
it.
do. I interviewed 3 authors this week, so it was a busy
And
week.
what three did you interview this
I
week?
interviewed Joe Segura this week,
Oh,
Bryn Donovan, and then Amanda and I did Jane Ann Krentz.
nice. I
So
met Joe very briefly at Steamy Lit.
she was so sweet and so nice. And I honestly, like, I tell them all the time, like, I love doing those interviews just because I just really enjoy talking to them. But we were talking to Jane about like how there's like the surge of like ebooks, but it seems to be like more people like want to read those physical books again.
Yeah.
Well, and there's this whole like side of it of like or physical book as like object or like trophy.
They're
Oh, mine are
trophies.
totally
Trophies.
trophies.
And a lot of
Trophies.
people are like, oh, I read it on but I want to have the physical. Like
Oh,
they're not
that
even
is
necessarily
me.
reading the physical. So
Oh
it's like
no,
quite
that
an
stresses me
interesting
out.
Versus
it's
Lindsay.
like-
Oh my gosh.
double
Okay.
sales.
Tell
Let me
everybody
tell
what you're
you.
doing, Lindsay.
Lindsay is cracking
I
spines all over the place.
I have decided that I am gonna live Leah's worst nightmare and I'm gonna read all of the physical books that I have.
You're like, these deserve to be opened.
Yeah, and
Ooh.
I'm not, if I own a special edition, that is getting read. It is not gonna just sit on my shelf and be pretty. And I can just like see Leah's blood pressure
You should
shooting
see Amanda's
right-
face of like,
Can't you read
But
it
you know
carefully,
what?
though?
Okay.
Or
You know what
you
I'm
can't open
outraged?
it?
Sorry?
Can you read it carefully and keep it in good condition, or you
Oh,
just
You
she's
know-
gonna do it
you
on
know-
purpose.
I'm gonna tell you the crappiest part of this all is that like a good portion of the hardbacks, when you open them up, the spine doesn't make the crack. Brand new book, spine doesn't make the crack.
and does that
Well,
make
they
you
don't
sad?
attach them anymore because when they were doing that, it was falling out. So
You know what? I
Oh,
feel a
don't
little
hold
gypped
up.
because we
feel ripped off.
live by the whole concept of not cracking these spines because you want that like pristine spine crack experience.
it's like the Christmas cracker that doesn't pop.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I'm
It's
just
a
like,
dud.
it's like, could you imagine if you came down for Christmas morning as a kid and like all your presents were already unwrapped? That's what it feels like.
But it's
I'm
done
like
to
a
preserve
I'm
the
a
book.
complete e-reader. I don't really use physical books very much. So
Oh,
that whole
I-
side is like
I
fascinating.
have
to
a
me.
lot of physical books, but they don't get read.
Well, I
like-
got some when I went to see me lit, and I'm like, we'll see if I get these read.
Oh, no,
because
don't read them. Just put them on your shelf and look at them.
They're
two
beautiful.
of them are art.
I used to have like shelves behind me, and
Just
then
go
we
to
moved.
NetGalley and request the ARCs, friend.
I don't do arcs actually. That's like I know a lot of people get into like this social stuff for that, but that's not my jam.
It's not her jam.
We
You know what? That's a
What,
really good
Lindsay?
point. I don't like arcs, but one of the things that I did was I went on NetGalley because I want to be able to get like books I really, really want early. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go on NetGalley and like up my score. So I requested arcs for 2 books, thinking it's a long shot. Nobody's ever heard of these. Like they're not super popular authors. I'd never read them before. And I was like, the way to get an arc is to do like that approach, I think, is like
Just
start with
don't
little
care.
known authors and like
Mhm.
inflate your. We'll see. I'm doing my own data.
versus
Well, yeah,
versus the
you're
rest
doing
of
some
us.
testing.
The Buzzing About Romance current ARC email is up to like 30 pitches, you guys, because
Oh,
we haven't touched it in a month.
We haven't had
Oh
time.
yeah.
Oh wow.
So we get, because of the podcast, and it's
Yeah.
lovely.
We get
It's
a
lovely.
lot.
We get
Yeah,
a
you get a
lot,
lot of interest.
We are very fortunate.
Yes.
very
with it.
lucky. But we get the publicists from the publishing houses pitch us the books, and then we go on NetGalley, and Amanda comes away with 42 arcs that she's
God.
got to
No,
read.
seriously, she texted me the other day. She's like, "Look what's
Sorry.
up there." Oh no, I went in and requested it right away.
It
Like
was
I'm not
really-
mad.
It's Jane's next book. She's writing under Jane Castle, and we were just talking about
we
it. So I was
were.
like, well, I have to send it to her.
And of course, and I would have been mad had you not sent it to me, but it's
Yeah.
just, yeah,
You're like,
it's a sickness, people.
It's
see, that's why I haven't gotten into that because it sounds very stressful to me.
It is a
so
slippery slope,
It
my
is.
friend.
I'm like, I
It is
don't
a
want to be like, I have to read this one.
Well,
yeah.
and that's part of the problem is I have like really bad oppositional defiance disorder when it comes,
So you
especially
don't
when
like
it comes
being
to
told what
books.
to do?
I don't. And when they're like, you have to read this book.
This is
like-
why I can't read nonfiction anymore. I'm always like, they're always telling me what to do, all these self-help
Mm.
books.
No, thank you.
Oh,
I don't
feel
need
the
to be
same
empowered.
way.
I have my own empowerment.
Exactly.
Leave me
I'm
alone.
like, I went on it. My friends were like, you're in your rebel era. I'm like, I guess so.
I've been
Amanda,
in my
that's like
rebel
your
era
whole like
since I was
theme.
born.
Whose theme is that?
Amanda's.
Oh man, the rebel era.
Yeah.
Well, because Amanda, like, if people start talking about a book, she will not read it.
Oh, see, I'm not. Sometimes I'm like curious. Then, like, what is
Oh.
this about?
But
No,
I'm
she
not-
won't.
But only
Okay,
on
I'm
that
not-
though. I'll do my arcs though. Like if I'm on a
Yes.
schedule, like that's a schedule I imposed on myself. That is not someone else telling me that I have to do it.
Well,
Yeah,
Um,
agree.
but
so
they
I'm
are.
I'm better with that.
I'm not better with that.
It's really bad when the publishers give you auto approval and
Oh,
then you can just like go to that
you're
whole
just like mad with power.
and you're like, oh,
Yes.
Harlequin, Canary Street, Carina Press, they have 7 books out right now. I'm downloading all. I'm
Well,
not.
and the bad
because-
thing is when we're all on there at the same time, and it's
Yes, and
like,
then we
look what's
talk.
there now. And so it's like, and then we end up like with 30 books like 2 weeks later, and it's like, oh shit, they all come out in the same month.
September was a
Because
rough month.
because we did not look at the like release dates.
It's
Well,
really
and I think too, because I'm trying to like also read back as well, like for
Yeah.
when I haven't like eras I wasn't reading romance, that I'm also like I read more, some backlist stuff too. So I'm always like I don't feel very current. I'm always like, oh yeah, I've heard, like I know all the titles because I'm looking at all the bestseller lists, but I'm
Well,
like I haven't read a lot of them yet. I'm like,
well, and
oh,
I,
I'll get there. They're on my TBR.
and I will say, like, the author spotlights is a slippery slope because if it's a book that I like fall in love with and they have a big backlist, then I'm screwed because
Yeah.
like I want to read them all, but I have to read all these other things.
Well, yeah, when I was before Steamy Lit, I was trying to read from all the authors that were attending.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm like, I really like this and it's part of a series, but I'm sorry, I can only do one per author.
one per author.
I'm trying to make some progress here.
Now, here's a question. When you read a series, do you read the series in order or can you read?
Yes.
That makes Amanda happy.
I have made exceptions. I did like I hadn't read Heated Rivalry. It was on my hockey list,
Okay.
but there was a lot on my hockey list that I compiled. So it was like on the TBR, but when I heard about the series, I'm like, or the TV series, I'm like, okay, I gotta like get to this. So I did read number 2 first, because people had told me they liked it better than number 1.
Okay.
But then I read the first one like right after. So I did go a little out of order, but I'm generally like I can't just jump in. Like a friend, I really enjoy Immortals After Dark, and I did like a big
Oh yeah.
voting bracket that was sponsored by Cressley, so that was very cool. And so I recommended it to someone at my in-person romance book club at my local romance bookstore, and then she messaged me and she's like, I don't know, she jumped in at like book like 11 or 12, and I was just like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, a lot changes like throughout those first books, so yeah, I'm like, that's chaos. But
I did that
do
with
love your
Carrie
voting
Oates.
brackets. I do love your
Pardon?
I love your
Oh,
voting
thank
brackets
you.
when you
They're
do
like
those.
they're
Those are so
so
much fun.
fun. Yeah, I enjoy it too because, well, and so far I've worked with like books and authors that I really like, so
Yeah.
it's been like super fun for me too to engage with the readers. And
Mhm.
a lot of people like, obviously it's a bit niche. If people haven't read
Yeah.
the series, they can't really participate, but the people who are into it are very into it.
Yes.
And they're like there every day, and they're like, you know, pushing for their favorite, and you know why theirs is the best. And yeah, it's so fun. That's the part I love about when people are like, oh, this brought like joy to my day, or like I'm looking forward to this, like those kinds of comments that when I hear that, it's like that's what I want to cultivate, that kind of fun in the community.
So I'm going to ask you this because this leads into our next week's topic, and I think we're going to spend a minute on it. What do you think is going to be the next big genre movement in romance in 2026?
I don't really know for certain. There's nothing like, so the trends that I've been seeing are that romantic suspense has been
Mhm.
increasing this year. So the last 2 months, it was the top subgenre within contemporary. Not by a huge margin, but I think it's like was around 12% of the top 100. And then like, yeah, romantasy, paranormal has been like picking up a bit too. But I know you guys also talked about like the difference between paranormal and
Yeah.
romantasy, and that I feel like, I don't know, that's like blurring a lot. It's something that comes up for me in analysis because a lot of people use certain terms for marketing, and so it makes it
And
hard
they're
for me
wrong.
if I haven't read the book to like distinguish.
If you ever
Where
get
it falls.
confused of what's paranormal, what's romantasy, what's urban fiction, please
Ask
feel free
Amanda.
to ask Amanda.
Okay.
She is our knowledge
anytime.
pool of those
Well, yeah, because
subgenres.
I generally use like what is it categorized as in
Yeah.
Amazon, but that's not
It's
always
a lie.
it's not always consistent, and it's
Mhm.
sometimes I'm like, okay, this doesn't match the copy or like the blurb even.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see like how that evolves if they kind of start merging more together.
Publishing is forcing it to merge. I wrote a Substack. Gosh, it's been 2 or 3 weeks now because
Mhm.
life imploded for me. I wrote a Substacks because Apple Books and Barnes and Noble have done away with their paranormal category
Really
and have put everything under the
under
romantic, and
Mhm.
it's not the same.
Interesting.
It's not this.
And
No.
publishing is pretty much wiping paranormal, but then we're seeing the trends
The
on
resurgence.
TikTok of
Yeah.
people being like, why didn't you tell me there were all these amazing paranormal romanticities happening from 2020,
Well, yeah, I'm
2004
I'm
or
shocked
something.
that Immortals After Dark hasn't like gotten big on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, because there's this whole huge backlist,
Mhm.
and it seems very in line with what people are liking these days.
Well, and every time I see one of those videos where they're like, who was going to tell me that the early 2000s paranormal were good? Every time I see one of these, I die a little because I'm like, I can't tell Amanda they said this. I just, she will like rage and be like, bitch, let's fight. It'll be like Mortal Kombat and fight. Like,
Well, I mean, Jane Ann Krantz even brought it up, and
Oh,
I
did
was
she?
like, she was like, it's because
really?
her books don't really fall. She does like psychic suspense.
Yes,
So
I
they
think
don't
I've had
really-
trouble categorizing hers.
You can't really, I mean, you really just have to call it a psychic romantic suspense. Like it really doesn't fall within anything. And she's like, she's like, because it's not a true paranormal. And I was like, yes, thank you. Like,
Amanda literally said thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. I
And
probably
even
put it
if
under
you-
paranormal.
it's the closest thing
so
you can get to
funny.
it. But there's a whole between her and Kay Hooper, and a couple of like Heather Graham and several other artists that were writing the same thing at that time. It's
Yeah.
really like a psychic like romantic
Mhm.
suspense.
Yeah,
Like it falls like outside of anything
the
else.
traditional
And
genres.
yeah, so it's like, then you're gonna get those one-offs, but for the most part, I mean, there's a difference.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, I
It's
understand
hard.
why it gets hard when you're like trying to bring order to it.
Yeah.
Like a store or looking at data.
Yep.
I'm curious about. I know like historical obviously is like hasn't been on the list much. There's been a few that show up in my analysis of the top 100, but they're more like women's fic. They're not really like
Mhm.
classic romance
Oh.
historicals. But I know I've heard people say like maybe historical will move more into self-publishing, or maybe it'll add more like
well, they have
a
to
fantasy element
because
to it,
Well,
like
because
to make it maybe
publishing
more
isn't
appealing.
buying
publishing isn't
historicals,
buying
right?
them anymore.
Exactly. But like, will we see that resurgence like next year, or will it take longer? I don't know.
I think it'll take 2 or 3 years for it to
That's
boom
what I'm
back up
thinking
again.
too.
Because
Or,
like
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think that like more his-roms are
Oh,
Oh,
and she froze.
She was making her big point.
Point. Well, a lot of Hisrom authors until she comes back. And that's like the perfect like video right there for her. Hisrom, a lot of authors are being told that are true trad pub authors are
Yeah.
told, well, I'll buy this if you turn it into a romantasy.
Fantasy, yeah.
Add some
And
magic realism to them.
That's what I was curious to see too, if people would like take that route to like, add some different element to it. But
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say like, and I know historical was trending recently on Threads too, but I don't think that's like anything that's actually going to impact sales.
I don't think it's
Um,
enough yet.
But I don't
just
understand why I'm like love historical, so I'm always like, but so many readers I meet that they're just like not into it, or they don't really want to try it.
The new to romance readers that came on board in 2020, the feedback has been they feel like Hisrom is preachy. They're trying to change society and they're trying to teach you something, and nobody wants a history lesson. That's the feedback that publishers have gotten from the newer to romance readers versus like then we see these stupid conversations come up about I want books with more yearning, and we're all sitting here going, read something published before 2020.
Yeah.
Because like Lisa Kleypas,
Yes.
all of the Joanna Shoup, all of them,
Maureen Heath, like,
yeah.
yeah.
Stephanie Lawrence, we talked about her. I don't remember when we
Oh,
talked about her.
yeah.
I mean, you talk about yearning,
And
and
she's got such a big catalog.
she has a huge catalog.
I haven't read them all, but I've read a few, and another where I'm like, I can't do all this right now.
Well, and she does a
Yeah.
lot of histrom with suspense elements
Yeah.
and mystery and stuff. So
See, and I see historical as they're doing a lot of interesting things in it to
Yeah.
kind of bring in like modern elements, but told in like a different time frame. Like it almost feels like fantasy to me because it's like such a different time and different rules that it does feel a bit like not normal to me. Like it's not.
yeah, as
Yeah.
an old school bodice ripper romance reader, I struggle with some of the newer hisroms that are coming out because they don't have the same beats. But it's
Gotcha.
different
They
books.
feel too modern or
Too modern. So for someone, I think it's someone like me who read the old school Beverly Jenkins, she's still writing the same. Her books, her story beats are the same from her first to her current. Her writing, of course, has gotten better and her storytelling is more encompassing, but overall her beats are the same in her books.
Mhm.
But as someone that, read a lot of the early like Jude Devereaux, Joanna Lindsay's, Julie Garwood's, the Stephanie Lawrence, the original Julia Quinn, because I don't even think Bridgerton is her best series.
Yeah.
The Smith Smythe series, that 4-book series of the cousins, is way better than the Bridgerton. But because of someone that read those, I'm looking for specific beats in a story. Adriana Herrera comes close.
Yeah, I really liked her
like her
historical.
style.
Yeah, her historicals come close, but she's someone that kind of trained under the beats. Lisa Kleypas, she was writing previous, so she was writing Bodice Rippers and moved into the modern age, but isn't writing now. Sarah McLean, her older stuff hits, but her newer stuff misses some of the beats. So it has to do with like what we're used to and the patterning.
I think because I'm not as tied to that, so
Yeah.
I don't notice it as much, but I can totally see when you're used to a certain pattern and that's what you like.
But I also love a third act breakup, and I find it so interesting that conversation happened 2023, 2024, and now people are like, well, you could bring it back. Yeah, bitches, because it's better with it. That's what I'm
you
saying.
need conflict.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, I think you can do it well without, but there's got to be some kind of conflict. And like, I think a lot of the ones that aren't doing the third act breakup aren't bringing in external conflict to kind of like justify leaving it out.
Well, yeah, or I think like sometimes the third act or breakup can feel like very forced. Like, oh, it's, everything's fine, and then we gotta fuck it up just, at the last minute.
Yeah.
And it, comes out of nowhere or whatever, maybe doesn't make that much sense. So I think that's maybe what people are railing against or saying they don't like. But yeah, like
it's miscommunication that they don't. I think it's the miscommunication because I feel, my opinion, miscommunication is very real. I mean, I've been married to the same man for 26 years. We miscommunicate on a daily basis, but that's because he's a dude and he doesn't listen very well. It's reality.
And I used to say I didn't like miscommunication, but I realized I was not being specific enough. And it's what I don't like is when there's like a simple misunderstanding that like goes on and causes all this chaos.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like. But like, actual miscommunication and like no communication, those are very real.
Yeah.
And like, are important, are going to always happen in basically any relationship.
Well, and
I think part of it too is that, a lot of the books, and we've talked about this before, is a lot of the books we're reading the same. And so when you're getting the same type of third act breakup, you're getting that same late third act breakup that kind of comes out of nowhere and doesn't make any real sense. Like you read book
it
and
feels
book and book
forced.
after book like that. You know, if you're reading the top books and they're very similar, I think that too was a part of it. People were
But
just
there
like,
can even
oh,
be, I also feel there's some authors that, and we talked about this a lot too, that they don't want to write the third act breakup because they don't vibe with it necessarily. But then their book goes on for 100 pages too long because they don't know
yeah,
when
how to
to
end
end it.
Yeah.
But I'm also a crazy person that I don't read epilogues unless the author threatens to kill me off in them.
Wow.
And then I
I
have to read
cannot
them.
not read an epilogue.
But see,
No,
if you started reading romance in
I'm
the
a
90s, if you started reading in the 90s, those bodice rippers, those contemporaries did not have epilogues. Epilogues are a newer phenomenon.
Yeah, I don't need it, but I'm going to read it.
Yeah, it's
No,
there.
it's like a
But if it
bonus.
feels
It's
like-
already there.
It feels like
No.
not reading the last chapter.
If you need it to feel the book is complete, then it is a chapter. Don't call it an epilogue.
But
Epilogues
so
are
I'll never be
bonus.
sure if they did it, if they named it properly.
I'm
Yeah.
trusting them. I'm trusting them. I gave them my money. I trusted them. Okay. Is there anything else you would like people to know about you or Romancing the Data before we go into the chaos of our book of the weeks?
One of the other things I was just going to mention about you, Amanda, you're talking about like so many reading similar story arcs and that repetition is just one of the surprising things was just like how many books are being published. So the data that I get is I work with a guy named Nat from Kindle Trends, and he does the scraping of Amazon to pull the top 100 lists throughout the year. And so he gets a look at each month how many are published, how many in the romance category, and it's usually around like 30 to 35,000 a month titles, and that's like inflated a bit because there's probably like multiple formats counted and stuff like that, but
Still
even if
so
it was
many.
like like a third of that would still be like a lot. And
Yeah.
so it just keeps reminding me of just like the discoverability is just such a big issue right now.
Yes.
Of like, I know I want to, like, I look at bestsellers because it's like and something I can access in terms of a list of books, but I also don't want to only like spotlight bestsellers. Like there's lots of books that are really worthy of attention that aren't necessarily showing up there. But I think it's just so hard for people to like grasp onto like, where do I find that? Like
It's hard to
there's
find
just so much to look
debuts.
at.
I was trying
Yeah.
to look for people that debuted 2025, and it is so tough to find them.
Wow.
There's not an easy way to access who's a debut because then there's these lines that are now blurred because publishing,
Yeah.
even if they published independently 5,000 books independently, their first trad book, trad labels them as debut, which I'm not going to fight about that tonight because that's a whole different conversation. That gets me
Becky
in my
likes order.
feels. Well, no, I just think it's disrespectful.
Transparency.
To
Yeah, I think
not
it's
acknowledge that.
well, what is that saying to all those readers that found you as an indie author? Do their
Yeah.
reads not count? Do their favorite books of yours from that time not matter? That only thing that matters now is you're in a retailer and in a bookstore or in a Walmart? Like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too of when you're looking at all the titles and then you're trying to go between trad and indie. That's just a whole other, like, I think that's why trad often gets the focus because it's like a bit more easier to get your hands around
Yeah.
those lists. But then yeah, you're like, I want to support indie as well, but you're just like, how do you like see those all? How do you? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very difficult. And like I was saying before about like the landscape for media is so fractured now. Like there's so little cultural coverage of book reviews, and we're seeing a lot of those media sources that used to do that kind of thing like gone now. So yeah, I see so often why people just like default to what's on the top of the list or what's like the latest viral thing.
I was trying to explain to some of the people that came into the bookstore today our concept of mac and cheese reads. And people were like, "Oh, that makes so much sense."
Well, I haven't heard this.
Oh, Jenny, one of our co-hosts, she will tell you like a book, like she's like, it was good. It was like mac and cheese, you know, it fills a need, but it's not necessarily the most luxurious, best thing you've ever eaten. It's just, it does its job, but it's, it's not
Yeah.
like a
I'm
top
not
end.
necessarily gonna like wreck it to everybody, but
Right, you
it
might
was
wreck
good.
it. It just was easy. There were okay feels, but it wasn't necessarily like getting a aged steak and,
It
so,
wasn't necessarily gourmet.
right. It was
It was
good. It just
mac and cheese.
was mac and cheese.
Was it
Okay.
Kraft dinner or was it homemade mac and cheese?
Yes, and there's a difference.
There's a different, I don't know. We've never really asked her to find it if it's blue box or regular. We don't know. Or homemade.
I think the initial definition was like a blue box. I think it was like the
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 KD.
easy.
Yeah, just the easiness. Is it
Mhm.
Easy Mac? I don't know. We've never even really actually talked about that.
All new levels to explore.
Yeah.
Comfort, not a lot of nutritional value.
Not a lot of
Yes.
nutritional
Yes.
value.
But really hits the spot sometimes.
It does. Okay, so guys, it's that time
It's that time.
for book of
The
the week.
Oh, whoops. I
That's
was
okay.
gonna do
That's
that.
okay.
That's
Book
okay.
of the week.
Look at her
Oh.
singing it. Whoa.
I like singing. I'm not like a good singer. I just like singing.
Well, that's better than our like chaotic.
Well, I heard you do that when I listened, and I'm like, oh, I gotta make sure I do that, and then I wasn't paying attention.
It's okay. I'm all over the place right now. I had to put someone in timeout. It's fine. Book of the week,
Good
like
multitasking.
book of the week was I wanted an Echo. Like I bought a really like nice like soundboard for the podcast, and it has little channels that you can add like effects and stuff. But
Oh,
like to get my husband to push the button for me to do it, it would be extra. And he does so much. This podcast does not happen without him. He edits, he creates our RSS feed, like he does all the things on this. So I'm always like, well, I'd really like an Echo. He's like, okay, we'll keep asking. So, and then our listeners will tell us, oh, we'd be sad if you got a real Echo. We like when you guys do it the homemade. And they
I love
really
the
like
acapella echo.
yeah, and they really like jazz hands and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're never getting an Echo now. Lady Jane, what is your book of the week, or do you have a book you want to fight?
No, I'm not fighting.
Okay,
I'm a peacemaker, so
excellent.
but so one of them, the books that I read in anticipation of Steamy Lit Con is my book of the week. Is Once Upon a Time in Dollywood by Ashley Jordan. It was a debut, and I think it was a Reese's book club pick. But anyways, I got to meet Ashley, and she was very lovely. But I did really enjoy the book. It's basically like a grumpy sunshine kind of story, but she is the grump and he's the more sunshiny. And she's a playwright who is struggling with writer's block and kind of escapes her city life to live in the mountains in a little small town for a bit. And he's her neighbor. And he's a single dad who's recently divorced. And so they're both like working through a lot of stuff. So it is fairly heavy, but it's like very beautiful, well written. These like big emotional arcs and character development. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought she's a really good writer and a really beautiful story and like a lot of very adult like conversation and communication of like therapy and like working through these big family issues and working through past traumas and those kinds of things, but done in a very intelligent way and well written. So that is my selection.
Excellent. Amanda, what's your book of the week?
So, in anticipation of the interview that Leah and I just did with Jane and Krantz, I got an early copy of her book that's coming out in January called The Shop on Hidden Lane. It's been a minute since I've read one of her books, but I've always been a fan. I've devoured like everything that she wrote for the longest time, and it was so easy to drop back in. Like I just dropped into this book, and it was like I'd never stopped reading her books.
Like coming home, huh?
So comfortable.
Yeah, it was so comfortable. It was so easy to pick back up because she writes, you know, she writes as Amanda Quick, as Jane Castle, and as Jane Ann Krentz, and she has tie-ins between like the Arcane Society, the Foundation, her Harmony World, which is a little more fantasy, and they all kind of like interweave and overlap a little bit. And it was so easy to pick back up. Like I had zero problems. It's the main characters are Sophie Harper and Luke Wells, and their families are actually like they're kind of like Hatfield and McCoys almost, like, and have been for the longest time, going back to like some developments of psychic weapons and things like that. And her aunt and his uncle are missing, so they have to work together to find them, using psychic abilities and all of this kind of stuff. And then it turns out that like her aunt and uncle have been like having an affair, and it's like this whole like, so there's so many like multi-layers to this book, but it's so easy to drop in. Like if you've never read a book by her before, Leah had never read any of her books and has zero problems picking it up. But
Is it a series or a standalone?
it's a standalone that kind of like ties into her Fog Lake, Mirror Lake, but it's a standalone. Like you don't need to read anything else to get ready for this.
I think I've only read her historical, so I'm curious if I wanted to try something else. Like, do you have a recommendation of where to start?
I would start here. Like you'll get a really good sense, and then they mention kind of other things that tie in, but you don't like there's nothing that you're going to be confused about. And then you could pick up and go like back. But I can give you like a whole list.
Yeah, I'll message.
Just message Amanda. You and Amanda just,
They'll talk about spreadsheets and stuff.
Yes.
she'll be so happy. Lindsay, what is your book of the week?
Okay, so I'm reading the Alina Jacobs Christmas and Harrogate series, and I like Sleigh Bells and Slaughter is the first one, so that's my book of the week. But realistically, it's the whole series. Like I'm moving into book 3. The heroine in these books is they're not I don't want to spoil anything, but like basically they're all being investigated as the suspect number 1 for the murder. And like the murder, they all have murder. It's all Christmas themed. The first one, she runs a Halloween, like a Nightmare Before Christmas themed Halloween stall or Christmas stall at their Christmas market. And it's just ridiculous. It's like Hallmark, but with like murder and spice, and this one's opposites attract. They're trying to solve the murder together. He's a firefighter and she's just like, you're not my type because you're too pretty. And he's just like, I'm going to teach you to love Christmas and me. And it's cute. Like they have banter. It's they're such easy fast reads. They're like just a little over 200 pages, so they go fast. They don't have like as much let's say like emotional depth as a lot of like longer books, just because they're short. They're more like a novella on that side. But
are they high heat?
They were pretty spicy. Like there's a decent amount of spice. It was a little bit slow burn, so it didn't hit until like the 50% mark, but I really am loving this series.
Because nothing says holly jolly like some murder.
I just love it.
And I know.
Like,
but are they actually murderers or no?
Is there really murders in there?
Like, or is it a mystery? Like
there is a murderer in each of the books.
Okay.
And it is a mystery. And I thought I knew who they were, and I've not. And I'm like, oh, like once you find out, you're like, oh, I can see that. But like the first one is so silly because like they go back and forth with being like, he's the murderer, she's the murderer. Like they go back and forth of like being fairly convinced. Like he's just like, of course that I finally meet a girl I like, and she's potentially a murderer.
Oh my gosh.
And like they
can't meet anyone these days.
Investigating, they keep thinking it's so cute and it's so funny and it's so ridiculous.
That sounds very fun.
It's so fun. I'm so glad I'm so hooked.
So Leah's book of the week, she got kicked and couldn't get back in. So her book of the week is Dance of Thorns by Jagger Cole, Mafia. She only had an issue with it was a little long, and she would have pulled some of the middle out, but the story was great, and she loved the twists of that. And I think Leah has a love affair with Jagger Cole anyway, so
Yeah.
she loves him and his books. So my book of the week, okay, you guys, I only read one book this week, and it was a workbook, like for
You've
work.
had a lot going on.
It's been a lot. I had a lot of work this week. So I read Icing by Emma Fox. It is a super spicy, sexy, why choose romance. And literally, I'm doing quotes, pulling quotes for content for the author. And I'm like highlighting stuff. And I'm like, these people are having sex again. Like, they are so freaking horny. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to do it again. I'm like, I don't know how to weave this into like an ad quote that's going to meet meta standards, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. But if you are looking for a fun, fast, it read fast, horny read Icing by Emma Fox. Why choose?
Is it icing like hockey ice or like
So
icing on a cake?
she's a baker,
Okay.
and one of the dudes is a hockey player.
Oh, so
So
it has both meanings.
It has
Wow.
both meanings.
Double entendre.
And they're
Okay.
I'm team macaroon. That's what they call their little polycule is team macaroon.
Oh, that sounds adorable.
It is, their books are funny. I've read a couple of them now, and they're just, you just don't take it seriously. It's fun. It's a great, easy read, and these people are horny. So there's
Mac
that.
and cheese.
Right.
Is that
Mac and cheese, but horny mac and cheese.
Okay.
Like, you know,
With like a little crumble on top or something.
Right,
Some hot
maybe-
Cheetos on
there you
top.
go.
right. Or maybe they
yes,
put like
yes, the hot Cheeto is another one that we use. Yes.
hot Cheeto. There we go. So Patreon update. Thank you to all our amazing Patreon community. We appreciate you. This is your note to go onto Patreon and update your address, because I'm sending little Christmas gift packs out. And I will send those internationally. So make sure if you're a member of our Patreon, or if you join our Patreon and want to receive some Christmas goodies from us, make sure your address is up to date over there. That's it for today's episode. Lady Jane, thank you so much for giving us your time and joining us here on Buzzing About Romance.
Thank you for having me. It's been a blast.
We would love to have you come back anytime. So you are always welcome.
Thank you. And
don't-
shout out for doing international mailings.
Yeah.
As a Canadian, I often like look at things and they're like US only.
Nope. I'm fine. I'll figure it out. If you would like more information about Romancing the Data, you can check out on our On the Shelf show notes at buzzingaboutromance.com. I will have all her stuff linked there. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Discord, we are group watching along Jingle Bell Heist. Is that what it is?
Yes.
It's currently on Netflix. We will then be discussing the Christmas movie on Wednesday. I heard rumors it might just be a movie that takes place at Christmas time, so we might have discussions to have about this movie. And then the following Wednesday, we're just kind of gonna have our own co-host Festivus. You know, join us for all of our chaos.
Are you doing the airing of grievances?
Yeah, it's the only time of year I'll let people bad talk about books. Unless you kill a dog, then we're gonna fight.
Fair.
I'm still not over it yet. Anyway,
That's something you still got to process.
yeah. Be sure you follow us on social media to stay up to date on all the things. You can just sign up for our newsletter. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. We really hope that you enjoyed all of tonight's shenanigans. Again, thank you everyone for hanging out and joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time, happy reading.
Find us on Instagram at Buzzing About Romance or on Twitter at Buzzing Romance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.